everybody. I'm Jenny from Northern Accents, and I'm here today with Jo from Made at 52. We're both taking part in the Etsy Team York Christmas market this year. We'd love to be with you in York in person, but here we are on Zoom. So we've put on our best earrings for the occasion, as you do with Zoom. Ta-da! And we're here just to ask each other a few questions about our processes in how we make things, how we sell, and what we've been up to this year, really. So, hi, Jo.
Hi there.
So we've got a few questions lined up, haven't we?
We do.
And I'll just take it from the top, really. The first thing I wanted to know really from you, Jo, was kind of how you'd got into your fields of textile art and embroidery and sewing, and just has it always been your passion, or is this your kind of first foray into that world? What was your first kind of time looking into it?
Well, I fell into it rather by accident. I was a lawyer for more years than I care to remember, about 25 years, I think.
Wow.
And during that time was kind of too busy for doing a lot of creative things, but I really liked calligraphy, and I've always had a bit of a thing for words, and I liked doing a bit of dressmaking every now and again. But then when I finally gave up law a couple of years ago, I went to an evening class run by Helen Young, who is wonderful Weasel Works on Instagram, and she was a great teacher, and it just kind of, I'd never really thought about textiles in that context before. I'd always thought of it as a very sort of, it's like a functional thing, you make something to wear. But it just kind of broadened my horizons, really, and introduced me to all the great things you can do with thread and fabric and embellishments. And that's kind of how I fell into it about 2 years ago.
2 years,
so,
okay.
Yeah,
brilliant.
That was that. So
great.
How about you?
Follow on Instagram. So I suppose this was a bit of a cliched maternity leave move for me. Again, I work as a project manager in the construction industry currently. Well, I'm on maternity leave, but I love the job, but it's not something that you can get very creative doing. You can't, it's not about pattern or color or anything like that. It's very kind of timescales and more kind of serious side of things. So when I was on maternity leave, I kind of thought there'd be an opportunity during nap time to try and do something for myself. So it was basically kind of a night owl thing. So while I was up feeding at night, I'd be on my phone kind of looking at what you can do and looking at different kind of surface pattern design and things. And I thought I could probably do this. So I started setting up Etsy shops and things in the dead of night. And did it that way, and that was two years ago now. Well, nearly exactly, actually. It was October 2018 I started, and it kind of took off from there, and people seemed to like them, so I kind of kept doing them, and it's been nice to have a bit of community, I suppose, around it. I made friends with Loops, Loves Louise, who's also in the market this time round, and we both started at exactly the same time. Both have little boys the same age, so it was kind of nice to kind of have a bit of friendship with that as well.
Sure.
And it was, we could ask each other questions, and it was kind of common ground. So it's been just a little like kind of extra thing to do on the side, which has been really enjoyable and got bigger and bigger.
Oh, do you know, that's really lovely. It's obviously great that you managed to do it on maternity leave. I mean, I used to joke that, I used to think that women who started a side hustle when they were on maternity leave, like when the baby was having a nap, I just thought, that's just a myth. Surely that doesn't actually happen. But you are living proof it does.
Unfortunately, and so is Louise. Yeah, living proof. Yeah, it's not even the best napper. But yeah, now I'm on maternity leave too, as I've just started 3 weeks ago, and I'm kind of like, what do I do now? Do I need to start doing necklaces?
Blimey, well, the world's your oyster,
I think I'll just stick to the knitting, as they say, and carry on doing earrings. I shouldn't get carried away. I haven't got time.
No, well, but they are, they seem to be going really well, your earrings. So, keep, if it's working, keep doing it.
Well, it's all good fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's my plan for the rest of my 12 months on mat leave. But
Yeah.
as we know, 2020 has been a bit of an odd one.
You can say that again.
Yeah, so I suppose kind of we've had to adapt, haven't we? Hence why we're here doing this.
Yeah.
How have you find things have changed this year? Has it made you adapt in different ways to what you thought you were going to do this year and what you've ended up doing in terms of your business? How has it gone?
Well, yeah, it's been a bit of a mix, really. I mean, my kids are 14, nearly 15, and 11. So whilst it's, in many ways, it's a lot easier than having a toddler and a newborn, you're not
not really. It's just a different type of challenge, isn't it?
It is a different type of challenge. And having, just having them both at home and my husband working from home for all those months was quite tricky in terms of me managing to keep my sort of creative endeavours going. But like you say, you just have to roll with it, don't you? And I just thought I'm gonna have to pivot, as they say, and get my head. I mean, I have to confess, not brilliant at the whole technology thing, but it's been a great learning experience, actually. And the Etsy fair that we did back in August, I learned a lot, actually, through prepping for that and running it. So that was actually really really useful. And of course, like same for everybody, it's hard to make plans, but the online stuff is the way forward for the foreseeable future. So just kind of cracking on with it and trying to get sort of just get used to new ways of doing things, really. So
I suppose it's that gift of time as well, isn't it? That, we've all had maybe a little bit more time on our hands if you have been at home in that kind of, I suppose that's a fortunate position to have been at home and to be, for myself as well, to be able to stay at home and work, then it does give you that extra time at the beginning and end of a day. So there's some benefits to it, but it's certainly been one to get your head around.
It has. But the funny thing for me was that I didn't find I had extra time because I'd made the decision to leave law a couple of years ago. I was used to having the whole house to myself all day, every day. And all of a sudden, it was like, what are these people doing in my workspace? My family.
How dare you be here?
Yeah, so I actually ended up with less time. I think that was part of the problem earlier in the year. I ended up with less time. Rather than
I was
more.
definitely the same as that until the nurseries reopened.
Oh gosh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because 3 months of a 2-year-old and working at home was interesting.
Interesting, yeah.
Yes.
Blimey, that
Let's
sounds
not do that again. But yeah. Oh no, it's been a long one.
Yeah, okay. You live and learn.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I was looking at your Etsy shop the other day and just kind of looking at sort of some close-up shots of your earrings. I mean, I'm wearing a fairly simple, a simple pair, but can you tell me a bit more about your process and how you go about making the sort of more complex ones like the ones you're wearing?
Yeah. So what I do basically is I try and mix the colours of the clay myself, so they're all different and unique. And that takes the time. That's the hand aching stuff, rolling and rolling, and then you wake up the next day and think, what did I do yesterday? And but yeah, so what you do is I lay a colour down as my base, my background colour. And then it's, I suppose it's a bit like a plique. You lay lots of different things on top. And if I wanted to put a particular pattern on it, say I wanted to do part of it with a stripe, I would make that stripe separately, cut it all up, and then lay it on the top and build up different layers and whatever kind of way I wanted them around, I suppose. And then roll them. So it's trying to achieve kind of the nicest kind of thickness, and then constantly layering different pattern on top and keep rolling, layer and roll, and then you end up with a slab that's quite flexible, so it's usually about this big, and then you cut it into the different kind of shapes like that you would want. So some small ones for studs, some longer ones, all the different shapes. These are my best selling kind of shape. I think people like the longer ones. Cut as many as I can out. Always remember to make 2 of the same shape, because I've done a lot of that before. We get to the end and think, why have I done 1 of this and 1 of this? Why didn't I make 2 the same? So they go in the scraps pile for something else, which I haven't quite decided what to do with yet. And then so you cut them all up, and then I might choose like an accent colour for the stud part, or I might do them the same. And then they get baked. They go in the oven, bake them so that they set. They've got a bit of bend in them, which they should have, but they always kind of can go back to the same shape. And then it's a case of sanding, and you have to sand off the edges, and that's awful.
That sounds really fiddly.
Yeah, it's time consuming. So I use like wet, dry sand, and it's dirty as well, because you get all the bits of gunk. And then assemble them all and have a play to see which colours work together with the studs and the bottoms and things. And then kind of get the backs on and send them out, hopefully.
Yay.
That's the best.
You get to the end.
So that's how we do it. But yeah, it's kind of just, I think of something in my head. I don't say on a Sunday I'm going to sit down and make earrings. I think if I've had a thought that week, I'll do it that week. Or if I haven't thought of any kind of new patterns that I want to do that week, I'll just leave it, because I don't like to force myself into kind of thinking, you must do earrings today. What will they look like? I like to have an idea and then make them.
And go from there.
Yeah, because otherwise it just becomes a chore, doesn't it? And I think you need it.
Yeah, it's just a sort of production line.
Yeah. So I always like to have an idea, and then, or these were actually Louise's idea. She was like, "Can you do some pink and red leopard print, please?" All right then.
Excellent, good choice.
Yeah. So no, that's what I get up to. Kind of what have you got on your kind of maker's desk at the moment? Have you got anything new coming for Christmas? Anything that we need to look forward to?
I'm a bit obsessed with embroidery hoops at the moment. So
I love an embroidery hoop.
Yeah, there's something really appealing about them. But I've had a few things on my Etsy shop that are sort of set in embroidery hoops, but I've just decided to do a few more. So here's one I prepared earlier.
Wow,
so
excellent.
I've done some sort of special Christmas ones.
Oh, I love it.
So it's sort of it's a machine stitched free motion embroidery tree.
Right. Cool.
And then it's sort of embellished with these little bugle beads and little white beads, and then a bit of hand stitching around the outside, and then
that is very neat hand stitching. The spacing on that is admirable. How have you done that?
I try. And then I just pop. I like the phrase "Oh Christmas Tree," from the carol. So I've got a typewriter, so I can type text onto fabric and then sort of pop that on. So that's a sort of.
Oh, is that an actual? That's how you do that? Because I wondered that. How you get the text from there? That's from a typewriter. Yeah,
so I just bob some bond web on the back of some white cotton or pale coloured cotton, and then you can just feed it into the typewriter as you would a piece of paper, and then you can do the typing and then cut it up and iron it on. So,
that's great. That's a revelation, because I thought that's a much nicer way of doing it, isn't it, than maybe kind of printing it and ironing it on and things like that, because I wasn't sure how you did it. But that's got a nice touch about it then, hasn't it, if it's done in typewriter? I love that. Yeah,
and I'm as I said earlier on, I was into calligraphy. I love sort of text and words and playing with words and all that sort of thing. Yeah. So my husband bought me the typewriter for my 50th birthday, which was last year. And the typewriter is actually the same age as me. So
Oh,
she was manufactured in 1969.
yeah. Oh, I
And
love
she's
that.
still
That's a
working, as
nice
am I,
idea.
so that's good.
Oh, that's fab.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
And then I've done this one as well. So these have just gone on the Etsy shop this week, so it's hard to see, but the felt has got some, this is felt, so this has got some
Yeah,
sort of texture on it. It's hard to see
right.
on the screen.
Yeah.
And it's got some little French knots and some snowy trees.
I
So
love that because you can have them individually, couldn't you? Or you could, they all those three go together, so you could have them as a collection as
yeah,
well.
yeah. So I mean, they're kind of they're 5 inches, so they're they're kind of too big to go on a Christmas tree, but
Yeah.
they could just sort of sit on my mantelpiece, or you can pop them on the wall so easily because they're so lightweight.
Yeah.
All you need is a nail on the wall, and then just pop it through the clasp, or you
Yeah.
could add a ribbon to hang it up or whatever. So
Yes.
yeah, so I'm enjoying doing those.
Yeah, they're
So,
lovely. And I like the idea of kind of, because we've got things hung on the wall at home, but you can take them down for December and put something Christmassy up. And
yeah, that's
it's an
kind of,
easy way of decorating for Christmas as well.
yeah, it's kind of
Looks
what they're intended for, something that you would sort of bring out year after year, and just kind of I love dressing the house for Christmas. It's pretty much my favorite part of Christmas.
Mhm.
Decorating the tree,